So with all that, we will get started into SUPRAweb. A quick intro. SUPRAweb is the web portion of the back end, so to speak, of your Super E-key, and it gives you a bunch of different features outside of just opening key boxes and doing showings. So we will get started. I'm going to share my screen. Please let me know if you cannot see anything. Okay, I'm sharing my screen now, and you should see Google. So to get to SUPRAweb, we're going to go to SUPRAekey.com. And from the homepage of Supra, you're going to see two boxes on the right-hand side. One is orange, and it says SUPRAweb Real Estate Agent Login, and there's a blue one that says SupraNet Association Login. Agents are going to click on the orange box, SUPRAweb. And that's going to take you to this. Oh, I'm already signed in, so I'm going to log out so you can see the full experience. So then this is the page that you will see when you go to that box. If you have not set up an account on this page before, you will need to do that. You do not automatically have a login because you have an e-key. So to do that, you'll see in the kind of in the middle on the left-hand side, there's a box that says new user registration. First time user, please click here to create an account. So when you click on register, it asks for a bunch of information, including a user ID and password. This is something that you are going to set up. This is not necessarily tied to your MLS login or your Super E-key number. You will create this yourself. So please make sure that when you do, you remember it, you write it down, because unfortunately we do not have access to that information, and we cannot tell you what it is in the event that you've locked yourself out. That's something that you'll need to contact SUPRA for. And it has some challenge questions. In the event that you do need to do a password reset, you'll answer those questions, and hopefully that will get you moving in a little bit faster than if you had to call SUPRA. So once you have an account, you're going to sign in with the login. And once you do that, you will see a screen like this. This is what I will refer to as our Supra dashboard. Okay. So we have a toolbar along the top, and we have the quick links on the left. And those are going to be the two main navigation functions that we use throughout this webinar. I am showing you this on a desktop. I recommend, if you're doing this for the first time, you do it on a desktop, because there will be some things that you'll need to enable that must be done on a desktop before you can use it on the mobile version. And if we have time, I will bounce over to the mobile version to show you a little bit about how that works and how that differs from the desktop experience. So the first thing that we're going to cover is key boxes. And to get to key boxes using the toolbar on the top, the second option is listings. So if we click on listings, we will see our listings. I have a test listing here set up to show you, because I'm obviously not a real estate agent and I don't have listings. So I have a test here so that you guys can see that experience. But we're going to click on key boxes in the left-hand side under quick links to view our boxes. Now, one thing that's very, very important is assigning your key boxes to an MLS number. I know that there is a good amount of agents who are not doing that. And technically, when you sign the lease for the e-key, you are agreeing to assign your key boxes to MLS numbers. It really is going to help you with the full Supra experience, especially when it comes to non-member access and running reports. And we're going to go over all of that. But please make sure that you are assigning your key boxes to listings. Now, very, very beginning, I have a key box here, but what if I have another key box? Or what if I'm getting my first key box? Or what if I have 50 key boxes, but none of them are in here? How do I add it? So you go to the actions box on the left-hand side and you click add key box. And it asks you for your serial number and your shackle code and the MLS number. So the serial number is going to be the number on the side of the box, right here with the barcode. So I'm going to enter that number now. I'm going to do the shackle code and my MLS ID, add key box. Okay, I thought that might happen. One moment. We will, just give me one moment here while I get that shackle code. Sorry, I thought I had the right one. As you can see, we're doing a live show here. Things like this happen. All right, let's try this one again. Okay, that one should work. And I'm actually going to leave the MLS number blank. Add key box. Alrighty, now I have the details for that key box, and I can adjust certain things. For example, the showing hours. They come default setting to 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. One thing to keep in mind is that these times do not observe daylight savings time. So we have seen in the past that affect people getting into your boxes. So keep that in mind. You can set it to 24-hour if you want, but it's totally up to you as a listing agent. Okay, so if I wanted to then assign this key box to an MLS listing, in the actions box, you'll see assign listing. And then you would enter your MLS number there and assign. It's very, very easy to do. You see the address here, but this is going to be helpful. You'll see why when we go over non-member access. Really, there's a plethora of things that you can do in SUPRAweb. It's just a matter of going in there, checking it out, and using it. So I hope that I convey that to you all today. We're going to go back to our key boxes. So now you see that I have the 2 key boxes listed. And you'll see underneath there's a legend that shows you what all of these icons here on the right-hand side mean. So that is the showing time logo. So if you look below, that means showing time. There's showing activity. You can email showing agents, settings, and that blue key is the grant non-member access button. So I just have the same listing put to both of these boxes, but obviously you will have different listings to different boxes. So how do we know about granting non-member access? So the very first thing I want to do is show you how to enable non-member access, because it is not defaulted to enable it. You have to go in on the desktop and enable non-member access before you can do anything. This has been a hot topic over the last year or so. I want to address the rumors and the myths of one-day code. I've heard that phrase several times before, and I want you to erase it from your memory if you have it in your brain. There is no such thing as a one-day access code for outside of area agents to get into your box. It does not exist. It is not something that the association can issue. We will not ever give outside agents access to your listings. That is your role and responsibility as a listing agent. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And we're going to navigate up to our top toolbar and go to settings. We see account settings, and then underneath there's general setting, and the third one down is non-member access. So we're going to click on that to configure non-member access. And if you look kind of in the middle of this section, non-member access options, click to enable non-member access. So I already have it enabled, but if you don't, the box will look like this. You just click to enable, agree to the terms, and save. And then you can enable non-member access. Now on that menu with the key boxes, I'll go back there. If you're not seeing that blue key, that means that you have not enabled access. So you need to go into your settings and make sure that that is taken care of before you are able to do that. Now, what exactly does non-member access mean? So that means that you are granting access to somebody who does not belong to GLAR and does not belong to an association who uses SUPRA. So it would be an agent who is using SentryLock or whatever else is out there. If another agent has SUPRA, this is not something you would do for them. They would have to contact their board to enable access to our board, and that's only if we have reciprocal agreements with them. So the areas where we do have reciprocal access is the Central Michigan area, Jackson, Saginaw, and West Michigan Lakeshore. Anything outside of that, you can call and ask, and we can do our best to give you information about that. But those agents have SUPRA. They have to have their board program their key. Now, if it's somebody who's coming from GRAR who uses SentryLock, then this is a situation where you would have to grant non-member access. And to do that is really quite easy. You're going to click on that blue key. And this is where it helps to know what key box is on which house. Because if none of them are assigned to MLS listings, you're going to kind of have to figure out what key box is on that house. If it means driving out there and looking at the serial number, or having an assistant go out and looking at the serial number on the side of the box, that sounds like a lot of unnecessary work. So if you just privately do that, or I'm sorry, if you just, when you get your box, program it to an MLS listing, and you will be good to go. So we have somebody from GRAR, they want to get into our box, they use SentryLock, so we're going to grant non-member access by clicking on that blue key. And then you fill out this form by putting the non-member mobile phone number. And then you control the start access time and the end access time. So if you want to give them 2 hours, if you want to give them 1 hour, if you want to give them 5 hours of the entire day, that's up to you as a listing agent. But you can set that. And then you can also include notes for the non-member, garage codes, or if there's going to be an animal in the house or a security system, whatever, but you can include notes there as well. And then you'll submit. And what happens when you submit that is the non-member will get a text to their phone from SUPRA about creating an account. If they already have the SUPRA app on their phone because they have come and done an out of area showing already and they've went through this process, they do not need to create another account, and hopefully they still have the SUPRA app on their phone. If they have already created an account and they deleted the SUPRA app, that's where problems come up, and SUPRA will need to help them out with that. So if you are running through this process and you experience something like that, you'll have to advise the other agent to call SUPRA to get that fixed. So we are doing our best to educate everybody. So if you do go through this process, maybe give them a heads up, hey, don't delete your app if you plan on ever being in Lansing in the future. All right, I hope that is clear for everybody. And also, once they create an account, they need to remember the PIN code that they've set up, because that's going to be their PIN code from here on out. So hopefully people are remembering that. And really quickly, I do want to show you in Flex. If you go under MLS, in the links and support information, you'll see we have 2 documents granting SUPRA guest access for members. So that will be a rough, or I'm sorry, not a rough, a very detailed description of everything I'm telling you right now about setting it up. And then across from that, we have using Super Guest Access as a non-member, and that's a PDF. So you can, once I get that link fixed, once this webinar ends, you can click on that, it opens a PDF, and then you can send that out to anybody who you're setting up access to, and it will give them a very detailed description of what to do to set up the app and how to use the app and all that, because once they set up that account, they will have a functioning Supra app on their phone just like you do. It just will only be limited to the access, or the access will be limited to only the homes that they have been given access to. It can't just open any box in our area, but their app will be just like yours, where you click to obtain key and all that. And these PDFs are here to help you if you need to refer back to anything quickly, or if you want to go and print it and have it in your office or have it handy. Those are there to help you. So going back to Supra, we'll just do this really quickly. Alrighty, so it's checking the non-member's status. It's showing who it is. It's me, surprise. Oh, we gotta adjust the end time. Okay, we'll just do it for today at 4 o'clock. Perfect. Submit. And now access has been successfully granted. So now I will get a text on my phone from Supra about setting up the account and getting in. Are there any questions about guest access at this point, Megan?
So none about guest access, but there is a question about key boxes. Should we be concerned if the battery on our key box is low or not fully charged?
I'm gonna pop in and see what my key box levels are at. Okay, so I have 74%, and that was, it looks like as of October 3rd, 2019. I don't think that's really low. Megan, do you want to chime in on this? I think that when these boxes were designed, the battery was set to last quite a bit of time.
Yeah, so I would say as long as it's above 25%, it should be fine. If not, you can always bring the boxes back to the association and we can check them for you or send them back if there is an issue with them. Of course, that'll happen once we're opened again. There was a question. Can you show how to set up on our phone for non-member access?
Yes, I can do that. Thank you. So I'm going to actually switch to my phone for this. This might be interesting. I've never done this before live, so bear with me if something goes awry. Okay, can you guys hear me and see right now? Okay, Megan, let me know.
Yeah, you're all set.
Okay.
You're fine.
All right, so now I am in my phone and I'm going to go into my Super app, Super eKey. Alrighty, so from here, we're going to go into SUPRAweb, and to do that, I'm going to need to know my serial number. And to get that serial number, if you look at the very top of the screen in the blue, it says, "Welcome, Amanda, to the eKey app. eKey basic serial number 641003. So I'm going to go into SUPRAweb, And of course, it's asking for my serial number. Let's see how good my number memory is here. 00. I think 13. It's asking for my PIN and my board. All right, I must have just 0003. See, I'm just giving you a very real example of what it's going to look like for you when you're doing this. You might need to go back and peek at your serial number a few times, unless you're really smart and write it down, unlike me. So this is what the mobile experience of SUPRAweb looks like. So as you can see, it is a little bit simplified compared to the dashboard that I showed you online. Non-member access only appears because I went in on the desktop version and enabled it. So once you enable that, then you will see the non-member access selection there. So we'll select non-member access. You can grant, modify, or revoke access. And again, it's asking you to select a key box. So it's good to know which key box is on which listing. Once you hit next, the screen is very much going to look like on the desktop. You enter the mobile phone number, the start date, the end date, and then also any notes that you have. You know, watch out for all the squeaky toys all over the floor if you were showing my house. And then submit. And I'm getting this code or this error because I already used this in the example. The access was previously granted, so we'll just hit close. But if that were not the case, then you would see the same messages before on the desktop about access has been granted. And the same thing goes. They'll get a text on their phone. It will walk them through setting up an account or whatever, wherever they are at with their Supra account on themselves. Okay, I hope that answered your question, and I'm going to switch back over to the computer now. Bear with me, please. All right, I should be back now. Let me grab my screen again. All right, so you should be able to see my screen now. And Megan, jump in with any questions that might come up if you think it is appropriate. So another thing that I was saying is good to have the boxes assigned for is the reporting feature. So up top in our toolbar, we see reports. We're going to click on that. And you can create a showing report, a key activity report, and a non-member access report. One of the great things about using the SUPRA box is the level of security it gives you by being able to tell who was in the house and when. So if you go to the showing report, you can do it for all of your boxes. You can do it for specific boxes, or you can do it for specific MLS numbers. Then you would select a date range. I'm actually going to go back a little bit here to February when showings were still happening and boxes were still being accessed. And I'm just going to do the month of February, but as you can see, you can pick any date that you want. And we're going to view the results on that. And now I can see that these are all the agents who have accessed this box, the date and the time. So if you need to pinpoint, or even if you just want to show this to your seller, you know, it's up to you how you are going to use it to help you, but it's a pretty neat little feature to have. Going back in the reports, you can also do a key activity report. So this will show you all the houses that you have been in. So for whatever reason you might need that, you do have the ability to do that. And the non-member access report. So if you have the non-member access granted and you want to check out a report, this would be the place to go to do that. Going to go back to our main dashboard here. In the quick links section, we're going to talk about another cool feature that Supra has recently added. We're going to go all the way toward the bottom to e-key alerts. And what this is going to do is this is going to set up emergency access alerts. So you enter 3 contacts, up to 3 contacts. I don't think you have to fill out all of them. Name and their email. Now, if you want this to go to somebody's phone instead of their email, you look below and here's a legend of how to put a phone number in as an email address based on which phone carrier they use. So if they have Sprint, you would put in the phone number at pm.sprint.com, and for Verizon and also for AT&T. So that way an emergency alert would go out to their phone instead of their email. And then you can customize the message here. It's got to be pretty short, and then hit save. And then once you have enabled that, you can send out emergency alerts through your phone. And I'm going to switch back on the phone to show you. All right, so you should see my phone again. We're going to go back into our Supra eKey app. And now if you look in the lower left-hand corner, you see a little thing that says alert. So I'm going to hold my finger on that for a few seconds. And now I see sent. So you have to kind of hold it there, and that prevents you from accidentally hitting that. And my alert has been sent. So now there'll be text and email sent to my clients that say, hey, this is a test. Not my clients, my contacts that I have established. And it just says this is a test, but you make it say whatever you want. Check my location and send help, or whatever kind of verbiage you want. You can completely customize that. But that is where you would go to do it. And if you are going to do it, you need to hold your finger there for a little bit, and you'll see the sent to show that your emergency has been sent. So it's something relatively new, and it's a nice added feature of Supra. Megan, do we have a question?
No, we don't have any questions right now.
Okay, your box appeared on my screen, so I just want to make sure that there weren't any questions before I move out of this. Back in action here on the main screen. So that is Supra alerts if you hear anything like that. We're gonna bounce back into settings where I showed you about enabling guest access. This is another place where you can see your serial number if you need it for whatever reason. You can configure email settings, different e-key showings and privacy settings. So that is up to your discretion if you want to peek in there, see everything that's in there, and change it how you would like it to be. If you go under billing, and this might not be something that you guys can see on your screen, but again, it's another place to see your serial number. So there's lots of different places to access that. And if for some reason you need help finding it, give us a call and we can tell you your serial number over the phone as well. Something I really, really want to show you, I know that we're running short on time here. Something else that you can do with the SUPRAweb is generate authorization codes. So in the quick links on the left-hand side, there's authorization code. And I just clicked on it, and now it's giving me an authorization code. You need an authorization code if you have a new phone. And sometimes if you've had to reinstall the Supra app, And I know that a lot of the phone companies have really cool technology now where they can transfer all your apps to a new phone as well as contacts. But the app might transfer, but when you go to open it, you might find that it's asking for an authorization code still. So if the association is closed because it's the weekend or it's after hours, and you find that you need one of those authorization codes, you can generate it yourself using SUPRAweb. And please tell all of your coworkers about this, because it breaks my heart every time someone calls on a Monday and they've been unable to do any showings over the weekend because their phone decided to go swimming in the lake with them on Saturday and they couldn't do any showings on Sunday. So you can generate your own authorization code here in SUPRAweb really very easily. It took me about 2 seconds to just click on the link and get that code. One thing I will say with the new way Supra's laid out is when you go to, or when you open the app for the first time, it's going to ask you for a name and phone number or an email address and phone number. I want you to disregard that at this point, and if you scroll down just a little bit, you might even be able to see it on the main screen. There's a little link and it says already have an authorization code. So you would click that and then you would enter the authorization code. Anyone who's been around for a while would remember the days of the old 30-digit long authorization code. That is not the case anymore. They've simplified, and now your authorization code is as short as what you see on the screen there. So really big feature of SUPRAweb, if you ask me. And another thing I want to show you is the update code. So all these codes, it's kind of confusing. So the authorization code is if you've replaced your phone, you've needed to re-download the app, something like that. Now the update code, we have gotten people calling about needing emergency update codes, and we can certainly give that to you at the association, or you can generate that yourself. However, it's a kind of strange thing because you would need an update code if your Supra app needs to update like it does daily and it's not connected to the internet very strongly. And you see, you might need an emergency update code. Well, if you don't have a strong enough internet connection for your app to update, then I don't know if you're going to have a strong enough internet code to get an emergency update. But for what it's worth, you can do it yourself through SUPRAweb, or you can call us and we're more than happy to provide that to you as well. But these keys, meaning the E keys, are much better now with updating than even the E keys with the fobs. So it's something that it does first thing in the day when it's open. So I always recommend people, if they're doing showings while you're home or at the office on an internet connection, just open up the app and let it update, and then you'll be good to go and you won't have to worry about emergency update codes. I think that I have covered all the main features and functions of SUPRAweb. Are there any questions that I can address at this time? And again, I know that I talk fast and we kind of breeze through this, but this is being recorded and it will be shared out to you at a later time so that you can refer back to it, slow it down.
I don't see any questions, Amanda.
Alrighty, thank you guys so much for joining us today and giving us a couple minutes of your time. I hope that you all learned something today. If there's something that you need clarification on, please feel free to email me, marketing@gloronline.com, and look for our digital roundtables this Tuesday and Thursday with Carol Grove about flood zone and all the updates you need to know on that. Take care and everyone stay well.